Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Lit Up Lightworker Podcast, bringing you fun and soulful interviews with spiritual teachers with the aim of tuning you in and lighting you up. You can access all episodes of the podcast at georgelizos.com/podcast. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos and interviews on spirituality and wellness. My name is George Lizos. I'm a spiritual teacher, intuitive, the co-creator of Elemental Healing, and the author of Be the Guru. And I'm so excited to have here with me Liana Werner-Gray. Liana is a holistic and natural health advocate. After healing herself of a 3.7 centimeter tumor by embracing a natural lifestyle, she created the Earth Diet and started lecturing and teaching internationally. Her recipes have helped people with acne, anxiety, diabetes, depression, heart disease, obesity, and more. Liana is a resident health and nutrition coach at Complete Wellness in New York City. Liana, welcome to the Lit Up Lightworker Podcast.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me, George.
It is so great to have you here with us to talk about your new book that I love, Cancer Free with Food. Now, before we jump into what the book is all about, I want to hear about your own hero's journey of doing this work, of learning about the healing qualities of food and healing yourself from cancer.
Well, I discovered that food is so spiritual and it's part of our spiritual practice. But it wasn't always like that. And so the reason that I got a 3.7 centimeter tumor is because I was eating so much junk food, like all day, every day. And the tumor was in my lymphatic system, which is the body's sewage system. So clearly I had put far too many toxins into my body. So my lymphatic system just like backfired and was like, well, you need to stop doing this. So yeah, I did 5 years of binge eating on junk food, and I would eat, for example, in a day, I would eat McDonald's for breakfast, I would eat Pizza Hut for lunch, KFC for dinner, and then snacks were like a pack of Tim Tams or a block of Cadbury chocolate, like crazy amounts of junk food in a day. And then once I ended up with a tumor in my neck and I was in hospital, I did a biopsy. I just remember sitting there thinking, what have I done to myself? And I knew I had done it to myself because of my diet. And for me to make those choices, there's a lot of mental and emotional stuff behind that also, right? Like making those unhealthy choices. So I decided that I wanted to heal it properly, like once and for all, because I thought if I just got it cut out, the tumor cut out of me, that I wouldn't be addressing the root cause and that it would just come up somewhere else anyway. So I was like, okay, I have to use this opportunity to actually get to the root cause and heal what is really going on with me. So that's what I did. And I did a whole protocol, which I talk about in the book. And the tumor's completely gone. I've been cancer-free, tumor-free for 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, and you've documented your journey, and you've put out recipes, healing recipes in your books, the Earth Diet and the 10-minute recipes. I gotta tell you, I'm not a person who cooks, but the only time I've done so was while reading your books because they're so simple, so easy to make. And now this book is quite different. This book is more focused on cancer specifically. Now, could you talk to us a little bit about why you wanted to write this book and what is your hope for it, and how can people use it and who can use it?
Yeah, so it's a bit different to my first book, The Earth Diet, because it is really focused on cancer foods. So I wanted to do a lot of research into what foods have been studied and scientifically proven to kill cancer cells and reduce tumors. And then I also wanted to find out all of the research and evidence on which foods have been proven to cause cancer. So I figure that once we know, okay, these foods have been proven to cause cancer and these foods have been proven to kill cancer cells, that we can avoid those foods and cut them out. We can incorporate more foods that keep our body cancer-free, essentially. And basically this book is like, if you are eating certain foods every single day, you do reduce your risk of ever getting cancer. And then for the people who have cancer who get this book, it's a way for them to nourish their body through the healing process, whether someone is going through conventional treatments like chemo, radiation, surgery, or whether they're healing naturally. There's a lot of recipes and foods in this book that just encourage people to eat every single day to keep those cancer cells away. And yeah, it's basically summed up that when I was doing all my research of like, okay, why are we getting cancer? Why? And I found all these reasons, you know, all these studies, all of these research papers, and it really comes down to two reasons why we get cancer. And the first one is toxicity in our body. So toxicity could be in the form of pollution. It could also be in all the foods that we're eating. And then the second reason is stress. And stress could be emotional stress, mental stress, spiritual stress, and physical stress as well. So if we know that those are the two reasons that cause cancer, we have a lot of control and power in our hands to ensure that we do reduce our risk of ever getting cancer. And, you know, some people say to me, well, what if your cancer comes back? What if your tumor comes back? And I'm like, well, it's been 10 years and I don't believe it will come back because I'm not triggering all those markers before. You know, cancer runs in my family, so I was predisposed to it, but I did everything to trigger those cancer markers, but I don't do that anymore. So no, I don't believe I'll ever have cancer again.
Yes, it's psychosomatic. So many things around us in the environment and the food we eat and affect everything. But I like what you said about the genetics. My best friend is an epigeneticist, which epigenetics means above genetics. And it's a whole idea that, yes, you may be predisposed to get a specific disease, but you have control over activating that marker, as you've just said. Therefore, you're going above genetics. What can I do? What choices can I make? How can I empower myself to ensure that I don't activate that gene that creates the cancer within me? Now, my experience with reading the book was both empowering, but at the same time, I had a little bit of anxiety because after reading through the top 15 foods to avoid, I'm like, oh my God, I'm eating a lot of these. I'm using the microwave almost every single day. I'm like, I need to cut down the microwave. I'm like, organic foods. I'm like, I can't find organic so easily. So I want you to speak a little bit about how to manage the changes we can make into our lives so that we're not stressed out and start slowly becoming more healthy. What can people do? Where shall we begin?
That's a great question. And I work in New York City twice a week at Complete Wellness. It's a medical health center. And I work with the patients there. And so it's the same kind of thing. Some people come in and they're like, it's so overwhelming. Like, how do I start? And I offer people a guide, like a shopping list or like a checklist of, you know, I want to help people do a whole natural makeover of their entire life. So it does start with food. And then I look at, okay, do you have a water filter? Do you have an air purifier? And then we go into what skincare products are you using? What household products are you using? And then, okay, let's look at getting you an organic bed and organic clothing. So like there's this whole natural makeover that can happen for someone to reduce a lot of toxins from their life. But exactly like you said, it has to be a way that's not going to freak people out and that's like realistic with people's lifestyles. So I love working with people with where they're at now and just helping them take like one small step. So in the book, I do list those top 15 foods that cause cancer. And for the people who read it and they're like, oh my God, I eat those and I'm really addicted to them. So, well, the number one rule I have is don't add extra stress to your body. So even if one of my clients or patients goes out and eats like the worst type of food or drinks Coca-Cola or something like that, I say, okay, you're just going to have to drink it and enjoy it for what it is and not add any stress to it. But when you're eating that food that you know isn't right for your body or for your serving your highest purpose, you could say to yourself, or you could do a little prayer to the universe, to God. You could say, okay, I'm eating this right now and I'm just going to have to enjoy it. I'm not going to add extra stress, but in the future, I see myself not eating this food. Or wouldn't it be awesome if I had this same food, maybe chicken nuggets, but it was organic, and my restaurant around the corner made organic chicken nuggets without all the crazy chemicals and stuff like that. So it's like a gradual process. And then also I offer a lot of health hacks to people. So this is one way to get the body very, very healthy very quickly without doing a lot of effort. And this is called biohacking. So in the book, I suggest taking some liquid chlorophyll or chlorophyll powder, and you just add that to water every single day. And that's just so easy. And
it's so fun. Yes, I will do this today.
So fun. Yes. It turns your water green, so it looks really cool. Like you can get kids to drink it and be like, look at this cool like Ninja Turtle drink, and it's so healthy. It protects all the cells. And so if someone, for example, wants to drink soda, I would suggest drinking a cupful of chlorophyll water before drinking soda to protect all the cells, so that the soda doesn't go into the cells and do a lot of damage. So little health hacks like that can help a lot.
I love those hacks, and I like the approach of being self-loving about it and not just judging ourselves and adding the extra stress that's counterintuitive to what we're trying to do in the first place. Okay, exactly. Now another topic I wanted to touch on is there are so many conflicting schools of thought regarding what food we should eat while we have cancer and to prevent cancer. For example, there is a vegan approach, there is a keto, the paleo approach, there is the omnivorous approach, and they all have case studies showing that they work to heal cancer or prevent cancer. And at the same time, they contradict each other. So someone having cancer can get very confused about who should I trust. The vegan person tells me go vegan, the keto person tells me go keto. What do I do? So how do we navigate these conflictions?
Yeah, and I did address that in the book, because it can be so confusing with someone who gets cancer. They just Google and they find like all this stuff, and it's like, what is right? And so I say the first thing to do is to gather all the information, stay calm and gather all the information. And then once you have all the information, then make a choice that you feel most empowered about, because it really is very individual for every single person. And that's why healing cancer is really different for every single person. And, for some people, for example, mushrooms might be so healthy and they get so many health benefits and they're natural, straight from the earth. But for other people, their bodies like reject mushrooms, and in fact, it's not healthy for them. So you have to find what really works for you. And when I first found out, I had the tumor, I had my friends and people around me, some of them were saying to go raw vegan and only do a juice cleanse. So I tried that for 2 to 3 days, and I got really bad really quickly. And my body just felt cold, and the tumor got a bit like bigger, harder. And I just felt like I was not on the healing path. And I was like, this isn't right for me. I need some cooked foods. And I was working with a naturopath at the time, and she was watching me just decline after like a few days of just being raw vegan. And so she's like, okay, we're going to start to incorporate some cooked foods. Do you need some cooked, warming, healing foods? And so I started to incorporate that. And I did, in fact, eat some meat during my healing. And, that worked for me personally. So I did mostly plant-based, but I did have some cooked foods, like a lot of cooked foods, and some grass-fed beef and some fish. And, that helped me to heal. So it's, some people will feel called to go raw vegan, and that works for them. And in fact, I do share a story in here from Bill Stewart, who is a cancer survivor. And he, for 6 months, went raw vegan, and he was able to heal his bladder cancer and never have any conventional treatments. So that really, really worked for him. But, that doesn't work for everyone.
It is an individual choice. Every single body is different. Therefore, we have to tune into ourselves and see how our body responds to it. That's a fabulous approach. Now, I love that your recipes are just very quick and simple, as I said in the beginning. And I love that you're empowering people to start making their own food and basically encourage them by letting them know it's easy, actually. You don't need to spend a huge amount of time creating something. And something that you mentioned in the book that really stood out for me was, it was important, your naturopath suggested that you buy less food and start making more food with your own healing hands. Now, that word, healing hands, stood out for me. Could you talk a little bit about that? Why is it important to make our own food?
Yeah, so we all have healing energy in our hands. So think about whenever we like get cut, or if we walk into something and we like hit our arm, the first thing we do just naturally, every single person, is we put our hand in that area like, ow, I just like hurt myself, because we have that natural healing and comfort in our hands. And so when we're making food, we're touching the food, so it's very, it's very sensual. So we're connecting to the food, and we're preparing our body to intake the food. So it's preparing our digestive system. It's kind of setting up the whole body to be able to receive the food, take the nutrients from it, and digest it really well. So when we're not making our own food and we're ordering food all the time, and I do this all the time because I live in New York City, ordering food all the time, we're not getting that pre-digestion experience. So that food can leave us often way more bloated than if we were to cook that same food, but at home, connecting with the food. And so when I got sick, I started to make all my own food, and it felt amazing, felt so much better. And even now, if I'm traveling or in the city and I'm ordering so much food, if I have gone a few days without making my own food, I don't feel as grounded. I feel a little bit airy.
Yes.
So I have to come back and be like, you know what, tonight I have to make my own food and ground into that.
Yes, because you put your energy into the food as well, which also contributes to the healing process. Amazing. I love that. Now, I know in the book you talk about the top 15 cancer healing foods and the top 15 foods to avoid. So people can read that in the book, but can we talk about the top 3 from each category? Like, what are the top 3, in your opinion, cancer healing foods?
Yeah, so the top 3, well, the first one that I found to be the number 1 cancer killing food on the planet, which I was very surprised about, is broccoli sprouts.
Yes.
And yeah, so broccoli sprouts have had a ton of research over the last 30 years, and the research is awesome. So basically, broccoli sprouts is on the 3rd day of, if you're growing broccoli, then they're super potent in sulforaphane, and it's that's that compound sulforaphane that's what kills cancer cells and reduces tumors. And a lot of studies that they did, they injected sulforaphane into tumors, and they all reduced. Every single tumor reduced. Every single tumor did not hold its form with sulforaphane. So if I was diagnosed with cancer, today the first thing I would do is get broccoli sprouts as a regular food in my home, start juicing it. You can also get broccoli sprout powder, just add it to water, and then sprinkle that on everything.
I love it.
Salads, yeah. And obviously, if you're eating the broccoli sprouts, you're not getting as much sulforaphane as someone injecting it, but you are getting sulforaphane, and it's important to have that compound in the body when you have cancer. So yeah, and you can get that from Whole Foods. You can even, or an organic store you can get it from. You can even grow your own broccoli sprouts really easily as well.
I love it. And another one you mentioned was chlorophyll, of course.
Yeah, so chlorophyll actually is a compound that's in broccoli sprouts also. So chlorophyll is in all dark leafy greens. So if you're having broccoli or spinach or kale, and you can think, okay, I'm getting chlorophyll from this. So yeah, so in
all the
broccoli
green juices, basically.
Yes, and so ever since I healed, I've had one green drink every single day for 10 years. So I've made sure to have chlorophyll in my body, and it really makes all the difference. And I believe that that's the greatest health hack to humankind, is the ability to be able to put chlorophyll in our body every single day. It puts oxygen in our body, it alkalizes our body, it gives us energy. It's so, so powerful.
I love it. And how about the third? What's the third cancer healing food?
Well, the second one is turmeric, and the third one is blueberries.
Turmeric and blueberries.
Yeah, so turmeric's been studied a lot as well, and it's just such a great anti-inflammatory. So that helps to move cancer out. And then blueberries are a super fruit and have so many antioxidants, like crazy. And also they help stabilize blood sugar. So if people are having cravings for candy, blueberries is a great one to go to and to fulfill that craving.
Yes, especially for those of us who have a sweet tooth, blueberries is the way to go. Therefore,
yes.
Now let's talk a little bit about the foods to avoid. What are the top 3?
Well, the first one is white sugar. White sugar, like refined sugar, is the worst thing that we could ever put into our body. Our body just doesn't know how to digest it. It just doesn't. The body was not made to digest like refined white sugar. And that's easy for us to know because we can look to nature and we can say, okay, what sugars were we meant to eat? We were meant to eat whole sugars like fruits, dates, and even we can eat, honey, maple syrup, monk fruit, stevia. But ultimately, if we can fulfill our sweet tooth by going out to a farm or to a garden and pick some blueberries or an apple or some fruit straight from the garden, that is ultimately the candy that we were meant to enjoy.
And that's even better, I guess, than, let's say, for example, extracted stevia or extracted fructose. It's better if we have the whole fruit, basically.
Yes, it is. So if we think about whenever we're eating something, we can think, okay, what process did this go through to get to me right now? And so stevia is great, but it still went through a process, and so did maple syrup. Maple syrup's awesome, straight from the maple water from the tree, but to get the maple syrup, we have to boil it down quite a lot. So we want to look at avoiding those processes as much as possible. And, for stevia, you can grow a great stevia plant and just pick a leaf, put it straight into your tea or coffee, and it's so sweet. It's awesome.
Never thought of doing that. I will buy a stevia plant then. That's the perfect way to do it, since I have like so many plants in my gardens. Why not? I've never thought of, like, I keep buying it like as a product, but I've never thought about growing the plant. Amazing. Okay, and how about what's the second one to avoid?
So the second one is, I think it's wheat. Let me just check. Okay, so so the second one I did was food additives. So this is artificial sweeteners like aspartame. It also stabilizes preservatives, things like benzoate. And food additives are in most processed foods. So things like soda, candy, cookies, cakes, anything that has a shelf life of 2 years usually has some kind of food additive. So you want to avoid those. And those additives are created in a lab. They're not created usually in nature. So there's only so many food additives that our body can handle. So we want to avoid those. The third one is soda. So soda.
Okay. I had a question about soda. Does that include sparkling water?
No. So sparkling water that's been carbonated. Yeah. That's a good one for people who are trying to go away from soda because they still get the bubble. Yeah.
That's what I do, yes, now.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So thank you so much. So we've got 3 top foods to avoid and 3 top foods to add into our diets to create some prevention for cancer. And of course, you have 15 from each in the book and so many 100+ recipes on how to use food to heal cancer. Liana, thank you so much for coming in and talking about the book. Could you let people where they can get the book from and how they can get in touch with you as well?
Yeah. Well, the book's available on Amazon, so wherever you are in the world. And I'm guessing most of your audience is from the UK, right?
Yes.
So it's in the Amazon, it's in UK Amazon, and then some UK bookstores as well. And it's published by Hay House. So wherever Hay House is selling books, yay. And yeah, and you can connect with me online. So it's just my name, Liana Werner-Gray. You'll find me on, you know, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the good stuff. Facebook, yeah.
Wonderful, Liana. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, George.
Bye-bye.
Bye.